OXFR. It's written like that. Sorry. Hi, my name is OXFR and I'm a DJ from Rotterdam. And I do drum and bass mostly. And I'm originally Italian, but I moved here 3.5 years ago to follow my DJ career dream, and it's been great.
How did you first get started as a DJ, and what got you involved in drum and bass in the first place?
I first started music as a bass player, actually, and the real first band was Green Day, and I got into rock and punk rock and all of this stuff. And then years later, I got into electronic music, not drum and bass, but I started to listen to some drum and bass songs through my cousin from Pendulum and something like a couple Noisia remixes. Just 5 or 6 years ago, I started to take DJing more seriously, to present my own music to a crowd. And that's when I started with other genres. And just 3 years ago, I met 𝗘𝗝'𝗀𝗟𝗧, a friend of ours. Shout out to 𝗘𝗃𝗍𝗍, who introduced me to the drum and bass scene of Rotterdam and Netherlands in general. And I went to literally just one rave, and I just fell in love, and I thought, that's the thing I wanna spin on my decks.
What role has the Rotterdam community played in your development as an artist from that moment on?
The thing that I noticed that I never saw in Italy when I was still living there, or in other cities where I visited, is that there was such a strong community here that is really like a lot of people that organize events, shout out Explicit Rave and many others. And it's really just like a community of people helping each other in the real way a community should be.
Your own sound?
Yeah.
How would you describe that in 3 words?
That's my Instagram bio.
The
3 words that describe my music are melodic, distorted, and dark.
When you're playing, and it can be your own tune or another tune, but what is the one song that you have experienced always hypes up the crowd, always gets people going?
Now, we're gonna unveil some unhidden gems here, but there is one song, Doomsday by 𝗘𝗫𝗣𝗟𝗓, that is a really unknown song. So the really important factor is that most of the people on the dance floor don't know the tune, but it really always gets people really hyped because it's just a wall of bass, an enormous wall of this distorted, simple, but yet exciting bass that people just love. And it gets them really going. Can be a double, can be alone. Alone does work a bit better, but it always works.
Well, you have played at Explicit before. How did you experience that? How was your own personal experience playing at Explicit?
I really enjoyed it at Explicit. Like I said, it really brings a bit of the Rotterdam community vibe into a one rave event. So I really like that on Explicit you can have everybody who's collaborating is a friend of the DJs, and the DJs are a friend of people in the crowd. It's really like a really strong community vibe, and that is something I really enjoy about Explicit. And also it's always a great DJ selection going on. So it's always a great show and a good community vibe. Now you ask what is different, but I can say it's a bit similar in some way at the Liquicity vibes, where you can just go to a random stranger and talk, and most of the times you can always find somebody who is going to be friendly and answer back, and you never know, maybe you have made a new friend. But it's always an event where I feel you can openly talk with everybody and enjoy your time, even alone, and find new friends or just dance with people without having to talk with them. But it's always a place where you can be open and yourself.
You've already described your musical background a little bit. What artists are your biggest inspiration to make the music that you make right now?
Right now, my biggest inspirations are 𝗘𝗫𝗅𝗍𝗍, because they always bring some type of amazing melody and harmony. I can really hear the background that they have from also a bit the Austrian scene of drum and bass. Because, side note, in Austria, classic music is still big. Staying in Austria, also Matthews, which also does melodic stuff, but it's always a bit more aggressive. But at the same time, I really enjoy the sound design of Sota, and also the way that K9 makes songs that are high energy and not per se aggressive, but they manage to bring a very high energy with a side of the songs that is, don't get me wrong, a bit commercial, but it never gets commercial in a way that it feels fake. So I would say, yeah, 𝗘𝗫𝗄𝗃, K9, and Sota.
Which tune are you listening to most right now, or is your favorite tune?
Can I plug my own song?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because there is a song of mine that I listen to a lot lately. It's called "Diffuse" by me. And I really like that song both to play it out and to listen to it, because it has quite a minimalistic vibe, but it carries a lot of energy. So it's great for doubles in a set, but it's also great to play in the car when you go to work. It really gets your energy going up. So I have a system set up in my Spotify where I have a few playlists. And basically I have the one playlist that is called a scouting playlist, where every time I listen to a song that I like, I add it to this playlist. And this playlist I listen over and over again in the car, also on the computer. This way I listen to it both when I'm focused, but also in the background. So that sometimes it's important to have a song that catches your attention when you're not paying attention to the music. It's a green flag for a song that I want to buy. So that's my scouting playlist. And then as soon as I buy the song, I remove it, except as if it's an amazing banger, like a banger, then I have a legacy playlist that I move it to. That is a playlist I can play if I'm with friends, or if somebody says, oh, put some music, then I know it's just bangers. And also I have a melodic playlist only for melodic songs that I really like, that I have on my Spotify profile. That's a little bit of a hook, let's say, where I think if a listener listens to that playlist, they understand a bit more of my sound selection. But then if they want to listen to my set, they're gonna go to SoundCloud.
Yeah. Anything exciting or new coming up? Big things coming?
Can I talk about it?
Can you talk about it?
Secret stuff.
Or can you be
I hope. Yeah, no, I think I can. I have a few exciting songs coming up. I have one collab with a friend of mine, 𝗗𝗓𝗏. Shout out to 𝗗𝗓𝗏. That we are still looking a label for. And then I have a few instrumental songs of my own. One of which I'm very happy about, because it really encloses my inspiration from 𝗘𝗫𝗄𝗃. So this melodic intro with a huge drop. But also I have a melodic song with a singer from England, which for now shall remain unnamed. That is gonna come out next year in May. And yeah, big things coming. That's a big thing coming.
Where do you see yourself as a DJ, as an artist in the coming years?
In the next few years, I think I can aim to play more consistently, but definitely also to expand my show and my view of my DJ sets to bigger festivals. So let's say in the next 2 to 3 years, I do imagine myself playing on festivals in the summer more regularly. And I don't want to name any specific festival, but like the classic summer festival setup that you can imagine. But also having more consistent dates and gigs in the clubs. So to have a all year round consistency, both in the summer season as well as the winter season. And production wise, I think just also being more consistent with releases on labels, because I do manage to be consistent with my own songs, but up to now, when I lose my patience to scout for labels and find somebody who's interested, I just release it on my own.
Yeah.
And I do see myself going away from this way of working and to establish more contact with more labels.
So you do prefer to release music on labels then?
I think it's more important in terms of visibility. It's not a personal preference. I know there are some positive aspects and negative aspects, but just in terms of exposure, labels are a big help. Also for the live show side, because when you release on a label, of course, there is somebody at the label who maybe himself or herself does organize events or knows somebody. It's just a way faster way to get to shows and to grow as an artist. So that's the only reason. But I would release music in any possible way. So.
All right. So labels and event organizers, get in touch.
Yeah, please get in touch. I chose to move to Rotterdam for two main reasons. The first is just a sheer number reason, because I analyzed a bit and I saw that there are a lot of parties in Germany, Netherlands, England, also Spain. There are many parties everywhere, but the Netherlands does have the biggest ratio per capita. So I did watch there's a lot of parties in Germany, but there are 80 million people. Here there are almost the same amount of parties for 18 million people, almost 20 million. So I thought per person, there are more parties, and on the ring, the connection is so easy that even if you live in Rotterdam, you can easily go to DJ in Amsterdam and come back. But then also personal reason, because there is a very kind woman, friend of my mother, that is, she lives here in Rotterdam, and she asked me and proposed me a deal where she said, if you come and cook Italian food for me, by the way, I'm Italian. So I cook Italian food for this lady, and she said I can live in her house rent-free. So the choice was made. How can you refuse? How?